chosen ones, neurodivergent people. I was speaking to a lady the other day, and she said she felt very stressed out because it looks like her husband can't keep a job. And it's like, well, my husband keeps changing jobs every year, right? And it's like when you hear these type of comments, you think that there's a lack of drive, there's a lack of responsibility, there's a lack of motivation on behalf of the husband. But still, even though the husband hasn't worked the same place, he still pays all the bills. You know, when we hear these type of conversations, we think that maybe the husband is addicted to drugs. Maybe the husband has a mental problem. Maybe they're lazy. Maybe they have an I don't care attitude. And that's the type of nuance that's said. I've seen something totally different. What I have observed on the job, the people who often are let go are the most competent people, the hardest working people, the overachiever who shows up to work early, and some organizations, the organization is threatened by that. What I've observed during the past 30 years or so, it's this trend that's happened to show that shows up the past 20 years where if a man has a hard work ethic, a strong drive, and if he always exceeds the company's metrics, the highest performing worker, a lot of managers feel threatened by that. And now the organization has to explain why this one person seems to be overproducing. What I've observed in companies, overproduction is used as a liability, and those type of people are let go. What I'm observing, one of the reasons that people are let go nowadays, it has nothing to do with measurable metrics. Not about incompetence, not about being disrespectful. What I've personally seen, if you're the type of person who goes to work and you're strictly professional, you strictly business, you don't want to go out and have drinks with people. You're not involved in controversy, and people can't get you involved in squabbles with people. People feel uncomfortable by that, and they make a problem around you and your work and chase you out of the organization. That's what I've honestly seen. It's the most talented, hardworking people that are being chased out of organizations. If you have something about you that suggests that you could be incredibly great, or you could be a strong leader, or you naturally carry an intelligence and a professionalism about yourself that's radiated out, that makes you a target, especially in a wrong environment. I've Me myself, I have an education. I've worked in different environments where someone will say, "Yo," they'll say it's something about this guy. They don't know what it is, but it makes them feel uncomfortable. I worked at a blue collar job. When they found out I had multiple technical degrees, the staff made a problem with me because of it. And in their minds, I would get these little backhanded compliments like, "Well, why, if you have this, why are you here?" And it's like if people feel that you are out of place, or if they feel that you shouldn't be in that environment, for some reason this makes them feel a certain way about themselves. and they start comparing themselves to you, and they'll slowly guide you out of the organization. If you are very competent, if you're the type of person who sees through foolishness and nobody can run tricks on you, you become a threat to that environment and you get chased out. So one of the things I'm also seeing as well is that if you are in the wrong environment, you may not get the same results. Especially if you have an environment that rewards mediocrity and you happen to have managers who happen to be in a position of power. If you can spot their incompetence, they'll know that you see it and they'll create a problem for you in that organization and chase you out, weed you out. So if you find that your husband, if something doesn't make sense to you, if they're getting up early in the morning, being the first person on the job, always volunteering to take on more work and still being let go, that lets you know that they may be in an environment, and I'm not trying to be arrogant here, that may be, I would say, that cannot appreciate their work ethic or expertise. Environments on a job, people tend to congregate around other people around certain professional levels that they think they belong to. If somebody else comes along around them, if they're doing the same work, but they may have more education, for some reason, if they have more education or they may be able to outproduce everybody without complaining, people will have a problem with that. So if you find yourself in that environment, it may be time to pursue entrepreneurship or more leadership roles. It's nothing, the way that the world is now, people, it's not the same world that it was 40 years ago where you can work at the same job for 30 and 40 years and just retire and have this predictable life. It's not like that anymore. Companies change companies change all the time. Just because you work for the same company, the way a company operates, they adopt different business models. They may have the same name, but will be actually a different company. Companies change all the time. And as companies change, sometimes workers fall out of alignment with companies' goals. So this is one of the reasons why people are routinely let go. I've seen some cases where I've seen companies say, well, you guys are relying on this one person too much and you can't build a team around that particular person. I've seen that happen. It's not the same world. And the way that the world is going, if you find that you have been able to stay on the same job for 30 or 40 years, in some ways that means you haven't grown. So what I'm saying is some people's career path is to take different it may be better for them to take different short term assignments and to make sure that they stay working. That's one thing. But nowadays, from the time you start to the time you retire, oftentimes it won't be a straight line. That's just how it goes.